Hello, and welcome everyone today to Papa Hector's podcast. So, today's topic is God is fake and belief of parrots. Ooh, this one's going to be a big one. So you're going to want to expand your mind to really listen to what I'm saying to you here. So, before we get into the topic today, make sure you subscribe to me over on Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor.fm, Stitcher, or Spotify. You can also find me at Hector Salva, HectorSalva.com, where you can sign up for the newsletter, and I'm on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at Hungan Hector. Alright, so today's topic. So someone made a comment on one of my videos saying basically the way they use sage is not disrespectful, which is not really, and God is fake. And to this person I say absolutely true. God is fake, and God is fake because you are fake. And it's okay to be fake. Because a lot of people that go around saying that they believe in God are just parrots. They're just parroting what they've been told. Okay? Most people do not believe or have faith in God. Okay? Faith is not a word. It's not something you can say that you have. It's not just a word. A lot of people say they have faith, but actually have no faith, or very, very little faith in God. God is fake, and because God is fake, God is real. I want you to listen to me good. It's because God is fake that God is real. And to this person and to many other people who believe that God is fake because you are fake. If you are false, because you are false. If you are false, you can never hope to really come in contact with that which is real and eternal. Okay? God is fake, and God is fake to many people. God is fake to many people because God is not something that you can believe in. It's either something that you know and you've touched and you've come into communion with. To be in communion is to be in union, to co-unite, to unite the division. You either know God, and in which case you don't believe in God anymore. I don't believe in God. I know God. And since I know God, I do not need to believe in God. If you believe in God, you don't believe at all. How can you believe in God, something that you cannot see, touch, or taste here with your normal senses, when you can't even believe in yourself? If you can't believe in yourself, if you can't believe in and trust in yourself, if you can't believe and trust in people, in the world, in the universe, there's no way that you can really come to know God, nor can you believe in God. And if you know God, there's certain things that are impossible for you to do. And yet there are certain things that are impossible that become possible by you knowing God. Most people believe in God because they've been told to believe in God. So they say that they believe in God, but they haven't experienced God. They haven't known God, so their belief is fake. It's not a knowing. And there are those, maybe some of you listening to this podcast, that know God. And if you knew God, and if you know God, then questions disappear. Things make sense. Worry disappears. Many people are constantly worried. Constantly worry. Constantly worried. And there'll be the people that tell you that they believe in God. If you have faith in God, if you have faith, which is actually knowing, faith is not a word. If you know God, if you really know God through and through, you don't worry. You can't worry. You know God. The greatest work that is set before you is for you to know through your existence God, for you to know the divine through your own existence, through your own experience, through your own union. That is the greatest work for you. And if you know, only then can you have true faith. Because true faith is not belief. When you have belief, you have doubt. When you have belief, you still question. You worry. You're anxious. You hope that what you believe is true, but you fear that what you believe will be wrong. When you have knowing, true faith is knowing. And that knowing, it doesn't need scientific explanation. It doesn't need facts and figures. It doesn't need a whole bunch of supporting evidence. However, through that knowing, all supporting evidence will become apparent. Will come up and show you. And so little do so many know God that they think they know. And if you think you know God, and you're still in belief, you don't know. If you can believe and disbelieve, you don't know. So many parrots exist. Preachers, priests, imams, rabbis, all kinds of people who believe in God, which means they don't know God. And since they don't know God, certain evils also still exist with them. Because when you know God, certain things, again, are impossibilities. When you really have united with the Great One, with the Eternal. And so many people say God is real or not real based on what they think God is or what they've been told God is. But they don't know God. So this is just based on what someone else has told you. And if you're basing what you're saying based on something that you don't know through your experience, and you're simply saying what other people have told you, then you can only have belief. And if you have belief, then you can only have doubt too. You don't know. And many people with this belief, or like my commentator here who said like God is fake, they think that God is fake because they think they know what God is supposed to be. But a man born a blind man doesn't know what is blue. He can't describe blue for you. He can't tell you what is blue. And so, if your belief or lack of belief in God comes from what other people have told you, what and how God is, what God is, then it's normal that you're either going to believe or disbelieve, that you're going to be false, that you're going to be fake, that you're not going to have the knowing. Because you can't have the knowing if you think you already know. And because you may think you already know, you will be blocked from seeing what truly is God. And that God is truly there. And that it's all permeating. It permeates and all pervasive. All things. But if you're going based off of what religions and other people have told you what is God, you can't know for yourself. And if you're going based on that, you're going to have opinions. There's going to be things that don't make sense. Because a lot of these beliefs about God are exactly that. They're blind men describing the color blue. They're blind men who can't see God, who haven't experienced God, trying to tell you what is God. And so the description is incorrect. So what they told you is God is incorrect. And if you think that is what God is, meaning the interpretations of God that have been given to you by religious authorities or the world, if you think that's what God is, you're not going to be able to see God, and you're going to think, either believe or disbelieve in that, whatever it is that they told you. But at the end of the day, everything worships knowingly or unknowingly God. Knowingly or unknowingly, you're always worshiping God. even when you resist or think you're resisting. Your resistance is a worship. If you think you know God and that God is based on these beliefs that you've been taught, God is this way or that way, does or doesn't do this and this and this and that. And you're saying you believe in God, and you're telling others you believe in God, and you have to make a big show of your belief, or even lack of belief, means that you don't have any real knowing of God. And you can't hope to touch what is real while you remain in falsehood, while you remain unreal. So the person said, God is fake? I say yes, God is fake. God is fake because you are fake. Because you are false, you can't hope to touch the real. God is fake because you don't know God. So to you, God is fake. To you, it's only a concept, an idea, somewhere out there floating in the world. But nothing that you can say that you know it's real, that you've dealt with it and experienced it. Now, some of you in this podcast or who are listening to this, maybe you do know God. Maybe you've experienced and become and united with God. Perhaps. And if that is the case, then everything I said in this podcast makes 100% sense to you. And you can agree with me fully. If you can't be real, if you're not real in your own world, in your own life, how can you hope to touch that which is the most real? But because you think you know what God is, because of your arrogance, you think you know what God is. You're not clean. You're not open. You're not innocent. You become the block. Because you think you know what God is without knowing, but you think you know. You stop yourself from having that unity and that experience and that existence which brings that knowing to you. Now, if you've been listening this far, I meant to say this earlier, but if you're really listening to me, you need to really open your mind and allow what I'm saying to you to sink into you without judging. Being open enough to really listen to what I'm saying. And if you're really listening to what I'm saying, you can also hear that there is no judgment. No one is better or worse for knowing or not knowing God. There's no judgment. Judgment is with you. You judge. I'm not judging. It is what it is. So little, for example, this person who left me the comment, God is fake. So little do you realize how real God is, that it was God through you who put up the comment of God is fake. And because you know so much, you're so arrogant, and you think you know, you think that you did it. But God through you put up the comment that God is fake. Just because God is a comedian. If you knew God, you would know that God is funny as hell. God is a comedian. He's a jokester. And he is not a he. But just to use a word, the Eternal is a jokester. The Eternal is a comedian. The Eternal has many, many sides. But you judge. You think you know what the Eternal is. So God putting up there that God is fake, just for me to turn around and do this podcast. Just to prove his reality, his realness. Just to prove the realness of the Eternal. The realness of what is the truth. So that's the problem when you think you know something, but you don't know it. You're just a parrot. You're just parroting off, repeating like a parrot what other people have told you. You're repeating like a parrot based on many circumstances. And everyone loves to think they're original. And yet, in the history of the world, and at this day and age, there are very few things that are original. And if you say God is fake, and you don't even have the fake belief that most people have, okay, two things. Number one, that's your God. Your God is no God, which is still God. If you believe in no God, you still believe in God. God created the no God idea. And number two is, I can appreciate you. Because you're speaking truth. You're speaking facts. You're speaking real. Now you're speaking your real truth. I can appreciate your comment. Because for most people, God is fake. They've never experienced God. But they'll continue to parrot off what they've been told to believe. So for that, mad respect. Because lots of people are simply parrots. They simply go off parroting what they've been told to believe, but they don't believe. Because they haven't experienced. They don't know. And they go on teaching their children and their children's children and their grandchildren and everyone around them these parroted beliefs. These parroted and pirated. And they'll go around teaching everyone and parrot off. But 2 and 2 doesn't make 4. If you truly know God, if you have truest faith in God, you don't worry. You don't worry about tomorrow. You don't worry about today. Because you know the eternal. You know God. And since you've attained nothing, that's how you can say that you've attained. That's a tricky one that I just told you there. Because if you attained nothing, you can say that you've attained it. That's how you know you've attained it. So I can appreciate when someone speaks their truth and doesn't continue the parroting sequence, the cycle of parroting, of being a parrot. Because only when you're bringing forward that completeness, that honesty, and being completely honest, do we have something real to work with. Something real to progress and move forward. God does not have a chosen people. This is a public service announcement. When you actually know God, you would know that there was no chosen people. The Christians are not chosen, the Muslims are not chosen, the Jews are not chosen, the Voodoos are not chosen, the Jehovah's Witnesses are not chosen, all are chosen. All have been created by God. There are no chosen people. There are certain falsehoods that if you knew God, you wouldn't be dealing with. You wouldn't believe. You wouldn't be following. If you knew God, certain things don't go with it, but not what you think. And because you don't know, you have to enter in with that not knowing, that willing to observe and see, and be willing to really see, knowing that you do not know. Only then can you hope to touch the tip of the essence of what is God. So, I hope that this podcast has illuminated for you various things, whatever has been needed, whatever God has allowed to be illuminated for you, and that you have a blessed week, and that you keep the faith. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to us. Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor.fm, Stitcher, or Spotify. Check me out at hectorsalva.com, where you can also find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, at Hungan Hector. Speak to you soon. God bless.